These first songs I wrote because in Cuba we have a movement about popular rice, how to grow rice without input, organically, with local knowledge. Have been quite successful, this movement in Cuba. And the discussion was why the Cuban people eat so much rice, even more than Chinese. This is the question. But there was some artists and scientists and policymakers, we decided to make our own version. That we eat a lot of rice because some Chinese girl came to Cuba and fell in love with a black Cuban people. So that is why we eat a lot of rice. In that way, I try to introduce some diversity ideas in my song through the art. So for you, con mi negro ripiera, I cannot translate English, I don't know how to say it. So please.
Un negrito de mi Cuba, muerto de amor por China. Esa chinita rosera que quiere vivir feliz. Con mi linda muchacha, con mi cocha pechocha, con mi puchunguita cha cha cha. Con mi negro ripiera, con mujer cualquiera, con mi somontuno cha cha cha. Los frijoles se entremezclan con arroz de la sabana y juegan entre el fanguito con mi música cubana. Con mi negro ripiera, con mujer cualquiera, con mi somontuno cha cha cha. Con mi linda muchacha, con mi cocha pechocha, con mi puchunguita cha cha cha. Mira cómo me tienes, acarameladito, acarameladito, mi china. Mira cómo me tienes, acarameladito, acarameladito, mi china. Mira cómo tú me tienes, que soy un mar de nervios por tu beso de arroz. Mira cómo tú me tienes, que no arreglo dormir sin tu boca. Mira cómo tú me tienes, acarameladito, comiendo arroz con palito. Mira cómo tú me tienes, entre rico saque y mi rico roncito. Mira cómo tú me tienes, ya tengo un jabao chinadito. Mira cómo tú me tienes, entre rico saque y tu rico panguito. Mira cómo tú me tienes, apurado estoy apurado, arroz con fanguito. Mira cómo tú me tienes, ay chinita guajira, guajira guantanamera. Con mi negro ripiera, con mujer cualquiera, con mi somontuno cha cha cha.
First of all, I'd just like to say I'm quite deaf, and I hope I heard you say that you were going to be the next president. Sorry, the other thing I wanted to say, Humberto, that was fantastic, really, in a small way, turning things upside down, but it could also be done in a big way too, I believe. And I guess you know that in Britain, since the 1940s, we've had something called the Soil Association. Do you know about it?
Humberto spoke at the
Ah, brilliant, absolutely marvellous, yeah. But I think they would be impressed by your record, I guess.
Well, I did my presentation in a workshop. I hope for the next year of the conference will be a little bit more wide.
Because it's only my parents were in it, so I knew about it as a child, and everybody thought my parents were crazy, of course. What is the Soil Association?
Yeah.
And Americans call it dirt,
Yeah.
not soil. But the other thing, how self-sufficient is Cuba now?
Well, it's quite difficult to estimate, because the statistical at the end of the day is not a very strong proof to know about how self-sufficiency we are doing already. But in comparison with the socialist country period, we are producing more food, maybe twice, without our chemical. This is an important point. And the same, but unfortunately, we are importing more food from United States now. It's a very risky and vulnerable point. Political issue. Political issue.
But you're pointing to the future, not relying on petrochemicals.
Well, I think it's quite difficult in the next 10 years to grow any food without any petroleum, without zero oil. It's difficult, I can tell you, because it's a process that you need to learn in the way. For example, when the socialist country collapsed, we're suffering almost 4 or 5 years of terrible, terrible suffering, because all our system was completely like you. So we need time to learn. So if I was, in the case that I'm the president of Cuba, for example.
Oh,
Now,
just for example.
oh, yeah. If somebody told me, so what is your priority to invest in agriculture? So my priority to invest is to invest in people for the transit to the chemical agriculture to organic agriculture. But you cannot leave people alone, because it's a very difficult moment. You have to transform everything. At the beginning it's bad, but increasingly it's getting better. So in 4 years' time, it's more or less the average that you start to get some profit. Your farm is really brilliant from the social point of view, environmental point of view, and some cash as well. 4 or 5 years.
I noticed, I thought that there was a big blockade on Cuba as far as importing things was concerned, because I noticed in some of those scenes there that you've got computers and all that sort of thing going. Where do they come from?
Oh.
Made of soybeans.
The laptop, you mean?
Yeah, the laptops and that, yeah.
So my laptop came from Japan, it's Toshiba.
I know, but what I mean is, by what route, who dares?
Secret. The business are business.
Yeah.
Even though we have some law against Cuba, the businessman always are looking for a way to sell you something. So, but this works for us, because we have to pay twice price for that, because it's a risk to sell to Cuba something. So everything is getting higher price. Yeah.
Okay.